Folks, we have a kerfuffle going out in the world right now. We have the sitting president of the United States, President Trump, going after and talking smack against one of our largest retailers, Walmart. I wanted to understand from Taylor's perspective, a 12-year Wall Street veteran, what does this mean? Does this mean that Walmart is in the crosshairs of President Trump and he's going to take them down some way, somehow? Is this just Walmart going to have to eat some tariffs? I don't know. But Taylor, why don't you do me a quick favor and summarize what is going on and then talk about what's what?
Yeah. So Walmart's CFO last week on their earnings call said this is the fastest pace and largest magnitude of price increases they have ever seen on their input costs, because they're bringing in things in from overseas, obviously. And so he said, because of that, before we had talked about being able to eat all cost increases, now we can no longer do that. And we are going to be passing along cost increases to our customers, consumers. So, by the way, just by order of magnitude, understand this, that Walmart is now, it was up until last year, the largest revenue source of any company in the United States. Amazon surpassed them. So this is the second most important company from a cost perspective to the US, second to Amazon now. So Trump, in a very Trump-esque manner, says, Walmart, eat the tariffs. And it just caused this back and forth battle now. And so what's interesting to see is just like, that's just not how capitalism works. It's not. The company is going to do what's in the best interest of the shareholders. And at the end of the day, the shareholders either can afford to pay more, which is what they're going to be forced to do now, or they cannot buy. And that is the two options when it comes to tariffs. This is the most direct and obvious result of a tariff in anything you could ever see.
Yeah, actually, I talked about the Walmart earnings release. I think it was last Wednesday or Thursday. And the thing that I think caught Trump's radar wasn't the fact that the CFO said, kind of outlined that tariffs are going up. At least the line that I thought moved the needle was, we are raising prices later this month.
The nature of the timeline.
Yeah.
Well
it's
put.
like it's coming, and it's coming right now.
Yeah.
Right. And when I think about that, to your point, I hadn't really put all this together. Now it's much more clear to me. When you think about Walmart and their business, they're basically in the business of selling cheap crap from China, right? That's essentially,
Fair.
There's obviously more, inputs, but essentially their job is to sell cheap stuff.
Them and Amazon, for the record.
Yeah,
the two largest retailers in the world.
No doubt. Temu and, again, we have become addicted to cheap crap. I mean, it's whatever, throwaway fashion, whatever you want to call it. But when I think about Walmart and I think about that announcement, it was like, what do you expect them to do? They're running a business where, I don't know, 30% of their goods, 40% of their goods at the time had 130 or 45% tariff on them. What do you expect them to do? I mean, it's like, come on.
Correct.
And then their CFO says the quiet part out loud, and the sitting president doesn't like the fact that Walmart, who serves, the bottom 50% of U.S. consumers, majority, like a lot of red states and red counties have Walmarts in them.
Yep.
And he probably didn't like that message all that much, that prices are going up.
And what does this do from a precedent standpoint to all of the companies now? They're like, okay, the second biggest retailer on the planet just came out and said, we're passing costs through. Guess what? Now consumers
right now.
And now consumers are going to expect that. And what are we going to do now? We're going to do the same darn thing.
Yeah. They kind of get permission, right?
Correct.
If the biggest, baddest, person out there who supposedly is the most efficient, most well-run, blah, blah, blah. The rising cost is so much they can't eat them. You're right. It gives everybody permission to rise.
The crazy thing about this whole thing is like cause effect. Sometimes there's some ambiguity in cause and effect.
True.
There is none.
There's a direct line. It's a big, bold line.
You place tariffs, our costs go up. And you say, eat it. It's like, do we not understand just the rough logic and math of how this all works? We have to maintain a profit margin. If the profit margin gets too thin, we have to press costs forward to the customer. That is a direct impact. It is so binary. It's so directly in line that, and I get the political aspect of it. The political
Oh, of
aspect of
course.
it
Yeah.
is Trump's then forced to fight for the American person, the American people, especially the people on the lower end. Hey, you big bad corporate bully, you can't do this. We can't afford it. When at the end of the day, the person that pulled that string pulled this string, and
Yeah.
they were both pulled on the same tariff note.
No, there's no question. When I think about Walmart, I haven't looked at their balance sheet nor their income statement in any great detail, but just knowing historically retailers, their gross margins got to be sub 20%, but their net margins got to be below 5, I guess, maybe below 7.
Yeah, it's a scale
There's just
game.
it's not a room. There's no room there, right?
Correct.
You can't pass on 145% tariff and tell me to eat it. It's like the math doesn't work.
So I have a buddy who works for a big company in the United States, and he said that if and he was the direct person that drove pricing for Walmart. And he's like, if there was ever a chance that Walmart found out you were giving someone else something cheaper, you would be blackballed, banned,
Oh, for sure.
gone. So you know that they have then passed that pressure as much as they possibly could onto whomever they're importing goods from, et cetera. So they have done as much as they can to squeeze the end party that actually is the producer of this stuff,
Right.
that they are the middleman to then sell it. They've already squeezed as much as they could. And if they don't have the ability to squeeze any further as the biggest buying entity, minus maybe Amazon, which is third, that's a little bit different, the biggest buying entity, then everyone else is going to feel it worse.
Yeah. So let's play this going forward. What do I think happens now that this clearly headline moving, thing has happened? You know what really comes from this? Public companies, certainly in the retail space, will not announce on earnings calls that rising prices are coming. They'll just do it.
They
just
just
won't-
gave the
they won't-
precedent to allow everyone to do it.
Yeah, why am I going to announce that we're going to raise prices 7% when we could potentially get hammered by the president of the United States? We'll just raise prices 7% and he won't even notice.
I see. I thought you were saying they were all going to say it. You're just saying
no
one's going to say, well, yeah, why don't I want the pit bull after me?
Yeah, exactly. But again, they're just going to raise prices. I mean, that's what's going to happen. The CFO is going to be like, oh, once bitten, twice shy. We're not going to publicly announce, price rises anymore. We're going to raise prices quietly every Tuesday. We'll pick 100 items and that's what's going to happen.
And I think that we've been on the same side of this coin. I'd imagine you're still there, but I'm not putting words in your mouth. This won't be inflationary at the end of the day. Like the cost of goods, yes, is going to move higher. I get that incrementally, but at the end of the day, what it's going to be is demand destructionary. As I see it.
Yeah. So we got to be really careful with the word inflationary. These are price adjustments, which are inflationary. You can argue that they're not serially inflationary, which is really the definition of inflation.
Correct.
I actually think now the way that companies, as I just outlined by Walmart, this will be truly inflationary. They're going to go through their portfolio and raise incrementally, and they'll just keep doing that through the system. So I think what we're doing is we're embedding long-term inflation. So I think that is a change for me. But to your other point, I believe the bigger outcome of this is demand destruction. We're just going to see the consumer go uncle.
That's all fair. And I don't disagree with you. As I said it out loud, I was like, yeah, I guess my point is not that we won't see inflation. The bigger problem is not going to be runaway inflation. It's going to be demand destruction.
No doubt.
You see it, what you've seen is like this interesting paradox of like, okay, if that slows the economy, not good, but also what you have are bond yields going higher as well. And it's like, that is the worst of both worlds. That's stagflation playing out.
Yeah, that's not good. Well, the good news is we're going to go from Trump v. Walmart or Walmart v. Trump to the Fed in our next conversation. But before we do that, where can people get your 60-second clips, which are amazing summaries?
Oh, you're the man. We're on Instagram and we're on TikTok. We're at LifeGoal Investments.
And let's give a shout. I mean, how many? I guess they're called subs. You're up to several 100,000 subs on both platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're not at 500,000, but we're getting close to 500,000.
So no slouch. If you're not part of those 500,000, get them there.
Get over there.
What are you doing? Yeah, come on. What are you doing?